Hi, my name is Karen and we're going to show you today how to make a cooking oil lamp. This is the equipment you need to make a cooking oil lamp. You need a tall glass jar with a handle, copper wire to make the wick holder, this is 10 gauge, items to wrap the copper around, wick material, this is thick hemp line coated with beeswax. You can also use cotton or linen, but don't use anything synthetic. And olive oil for the fuel, but you can also use a different cooking oil. We're going to make the wick holder. This is a stick you can use for shish kebabs. You could use a nail or any thin object. I'm going to bend the copper over first. I'm going to start wrapping. You want the top part of the holder to be about 3/8 of an inch long. This is the second part of the holder. We're going to make thicker rounds to hold the wick in place underneath the top part. Okay. So now we have the thin part, the thicker part. This is 2 coils. And now we're going to make a fat part to sit in the bottom of the jar. Okay, I'm going to adjust the holder to make sure the flame is going to stay in the middle of the jar, because if the holder were to tip or be too close to the glass and the flame touches the glass can heat too fast and shatter. Okay, I'm going to make this so that my holder is all the way at the bottom of the jar. And this is because the olive oil does not rise very far up a wick. It's not going to rise much farther than this. So unless I want to have olive oil at the bottom that's never going to burn, I want this all the way at the bottom. All right, now we're going to cut it off with a handle over the top. Make sure that I can get this in and out easily so that I can adjust it while it's burning. Okay, now we're going to do the wick. I'm going to cut off about 6 inches, a little more than 6 inches of the hemp coated with beeswax. I'm going to fold that over and twist it. I'm going to poke it through here, and then I need to pull this apart and feed it through the wick holder part here. Alright, so I have about a pencil width eraser of wick sticking up, and I have the next part of the wick stuck between the 2 medium coils to hold it in place. Okay, we're going to fill with olive oil to the bottom of the top coil. Olive oil itself doesn't burn. You're actually burning the olive oil vapor. So the oil level needs to be close enough to the flame so that the vapor can rise into the wick before the wick burns itself out. At the same time, if the olive oil is too high, then there's just going to be too much oil instead of vapor, and you won't be able to get a good flame started. As the flame gets hotter, the oil level can go down and it can still keep burning because it'll vaporize easier. Now we're going to light the flame. Olive oil lamps are hard to light the first time. A match is not going to work. You're going to need a lighter, or you're going to need a candle that you can hold there to have a sustained fire. So we have a good take. If your flame flames up and then gets too low, you're going to use a pair of tweezers to make the flame higher. You can just pull up the whole flame holder and make it higher. If it starts smoking, you're going to pull up the flame holder. If this were to start smoking, I pull up the flame holder and pull down on the bottom to make the wick shorter. Now for safety, I'm going to put a band around the top of the wick holder, so if this got knocked over accidentally or in an earthquake, the flame isn't going to go out of the jar. So this is a lamp that I've used previously. When I relight it, I'm going to take away the easily breakable parts of the wick and adjust the wick to the length of a pencil eraser. I'm going to make sure my oil is at the right level before relighting. And then I'm just going to light it using my other wick. So these lamps will burn for at least 4 hours before needing to be refilled. And remember, I have the flame really close to the bottom of the jar because olive oil can't travel very far up a wick. Now this is very different than lamp oil or kerosene oil. Those oils require a good distance between the flame and the oil because they are very volatile and they will raise very quickly. So never ever put lamp oil or kerosene oil in a lamp like this because you'll have an explosive situation. So there are sources online that will tell you to put olive oil on top of your wick before you light it. This will actually give you a harder lighting time because olive oil itself doesn't burn. So just fill the oil to the proper level in the lamp and then light it and it will work. But because olive oil itself doesn't burn, we can extinguish the lamps by pouring olive oil on top of them. And this is really nice because it's very little smoke. So I'm going to show you extinguishing the lamp. Thank you so much for watching today, and please make sure to watch our next video on why using olive oil lamps are really important for your health.